Hey, this is Malika of Evanston Live TV, and we have with us today a very special guest, Sonny Sultani. Did I say that correctly, Sonny?
You did.
All right, thank you. I got it. I was told about Sonny through a gentleman named Justin, and the story was just so inspiring and so real. And I wanted to bring Sonny on because I think there's a lot of people uh, that people I even know personally that are not taking this COVID-19 serious. Like it's not real. And Sonny's story was so fascinating to me because he had just launched a business right here. And then he found out he had the COVID-19. And his story, I spoke to him today, and the story fed me. It was just, I see people like him as an angel because they share their experience um, to inspire and strengthen and inform other people. And that's exactly what he did. He doesn't even know he did that for me today, but he did. All right, Sonny, if you want to like let the people know, well, first of all, you were starting a business. You had
Right.
launched the business already. You had launched one.
Yeah. So February 1st, I launched a business. Um, it's a digital marketing agency, and um, and then a few weeks after, about 5 weeks after getting, I had my first few sets of clients, and then 5 weeks after I had COVID. So and COVID for me lasted a lot longer than what television was reporting. I thought I'd be out for a couple of weeks, but I ended up being out for roughly 6 weeks, 5.5 weeks of me being sick. So,
Wow, I mean that had to have been the timing. Goodness gracious. Um,
right.
yeah, yeah. So here you are, this businessman who's excited. You have this digital marketing service just ready to launch and serve you. I mean, you already had clients on the roster that you were working with, and
Yeah.
so what was going through your mind at that time? Like, this can't possibly be happening right now. And how did you deal with your clients at that time, being
Well,
new?
I had 6 clients. So, uh, what as soon as I found out I had COVID, I sent an email to all of my clients saying, "Hey, listen, I just found out I have COVID. I've been feeling pretty sick a few weeks now, and I had already thought I had COVID. So, um, I might be absent. I don't know for how long, but I left it pretty vague and ambiguous. And I even gave most of my clients an out, and I said, look, I understand if you have to leave. You know, uh, Obviously, I didn't want to bill anybody at this point because I knew I wasn't going to be able to do anybody's work. But the kind-hearted nature of this group of 6 clients that I had, I didn't even send out an invoice for that month. I received a check from all 6 of them.
Wow.
So very fortunate here. I know not all clients are like that, but in a time like this, when someone gets sick, one of the first things you worry about is will I have enough money? Because the bills from healthcare are going to might start rolling in. So yeah, I'm very fortunate there. Yeah.
Okay. And Sonny, I know you and I had talked earlier. When you have people relying on you to supply them, so you have your family. I mean, you're sitting there in your son's room right now.
Yeah.
I know everybody's like, "Oh, so he's into Batman." No, he's in his son's room. um, so you have people relying on you, family, to supply them. You've got clients. Um, what was going on in your mind at this point? You're thinking, my health. I mean, that's a lot to juggle, to take on. How, what were the conversations going on in your mind with having to take care of yourself? And then you have all these people relying on you to supply them. God, I can't imagine.
Well, there were two major conversations happening in my head at that time. And the first one was kind of this dichotomy between, will I make it or won't I make, will this take me? And so um, part of me was prepping for the worst, and part of me was prepping for the best case scenario. Now I know that a lot of people are going to make it through. A lot of them are, but I kept getting sicker and sicker and sicker. I mean, there were points where I just couldn't breathe, and just taking a deep breath was hurting. And so I didn't know if I was heading down that worst case scenario, and it seemed like I was heading down that path pretty quickly at one point. So uh, to prep for the worst case scenario, uh, it, because of the finances are being handled by me at this family, um, I wanted to make sure that my wife and my kids were taken care of. So I quickly made a phone call to my banker. I said, let's make sure my beneficiaries are there. Let's make sure all of those, that those things are taken care of. I put a spreadsheet together for my wife to know exactly where our investments lie and what the username passwords were for those, so that there was no guesswork. And on the other side, I have a business that if I make this through, I've got clients that haven't spoken to me in 5 weeks. So I'm trying to keep up and prep and make sure that I don't fall behind, because as we all know, we sometimes go on vacation, go back to work, and we've got a mound more work to deal with. And this is me disappearing for 6 weeks, coming back to work, and I'm the only one taking care of everything. So I was just, taking a deep breath going, how much can I handle through the sickness where I don't fall behind? The other major conversation was really, with the isolation that goes on with this disease, and you're quarantined, you're really not talking to anybody. And one of the challenges I faced was having something to hold on to that helps you fight. Because one of the greatest challenges I faced was those moments where you're just like almost wanting the virus to just take over, and you're like, okay, I can't do this anymore, I'm gonna give up. You can't let that happen. So for me, it was my boys. Everyone needs that moniker, or whatever you call it, where you hold on to something that helps you fight, right? And so for me, it was my boys, knowing that I got to be there for them. So those moments where I just didn't want to drink water because I'm just too tired to do so, I forced myself to get up, drink glasses of water, and just take care of myself. And it becomes very difficult. So I think those are the two major things going on.
Wow. Wow. That's some heck of a conversation going on inside of a person. Just pushing. So with the breathing, I know I suffer from asthma, and it's horrifying when you can't get that breath. Did you have any underlying conditions prior to?
I did not. I did not. Um, uh, I'm a somewhat healthy 40-year-old, and while I don't exercise regularly, and I'm sure I have, some issues boiling under the surface, I am otherwise pretty healthy.
Mm, mm. So, where do you think you possibly contracted the virus?
So we have some hypotheses as to where I might have gotten the virus, but the one that stands out in my head is, I had just recently flown back for my grandmother's funeral. I took a red eye back from Dallas. Um, the sickness first appeared 2 weeks after that flight.
Mm,
Between that time, I had not gone anywhere, so we believe that it might have been that flight.
wow, wow. And what was the first symptom where you thought, I think I need to go get tested?
So the first symptom made me kind of chuckle, right? Because I didn't know what it was, and I was at Burger King eating a hamburger, which I know, not the healthiest thing to do, but as I was eating it, I noticed that I was taking deep breaths as I ate.
Mm,
Um, we've all seen that person eating and kind of struggling to grab a breath, and to me, it was kind of like, oh, I need to go get my heart checked. I'm getting to that age where I should start getting these things checked out. You know, I'm breathing heavier as I eat. So to me, it was kind of funny at first, but then it progressed where climbing a flight of stairs, I was winded, and then the cough developed, right? And then and the fatigue followed suit. And there were moments where I was just napping for 4 hours at a time, and I knew something was wrong. So as the cough worsened, I went to the immediate care. I wasn't a candidate to get tested for COVID at that time. Um, uh, and so they tested me for the flu, they tested me for RSV, I think it's called, for the cold, and then they tested me for strep throat because my throat was red at the time. All came back negative, and they kind of sent me back home, told me to have, medication and just to get rest and drink a lot of fluids. It progressed. The week later, I went back into the immediate care. They did a chest x-ray. They said that I had viral bronchitis. Still wasn't a candidate for COVID testing, which I completely understand because it wasn't prevalent at that time. Another week goes by, the fever starts. I can't smell anything anymore. And, the headache persists. There was a pain in the back of my eyes. It just kept getting worse and worse. At that point, they decided to test me for COVID. And a few days later, we found out that I was positive for COVID. Lucky for us, I had quarantined the whole time through. So as soon as my first symptom started, my wife and I decided, let's not take any chances. We've got kids at home. Let's just quarantine you till you get better. And if it's nothing, that's fine. You'll just get better and you'll be done with. But we were smart. We did quarantine myself in the master bedroom. I had a bathroom to myself, so there was no sharing. Of course, poor wife, she had to sleep out on the couch for the time, and she had to handle the boys when they end work and do all the things that you're supposed to. And of course, both of them are at home because school's out, virtual classrooms, all of that. So, she deserves a pat on her back for keeping everything steady and making sure no one got sick. Now, I will say that I am lucky and I'm fortunate we have an extra bathroom here. I know a lot of families have a single bathroom, so if someone gets sick at home, they're all sharing a space that, may cause other people to get sick in the household. So.
Wow. And so you weren't, you didn't get to the point where you had to be on a ventilator, but you had gotten very, very ill.
I did. I got pretty sick. I contemplated multiple times whether I should go into the ER or not. And part of the reason why I didn't go, and I know doctors would say that reason's not a good one. You should have gone. My chest was tightening. Breathing was very bad. And, the fever kept getting worse. I mean, I think there was one night I was at 102.3, and so the fever kept getting worse, and I probably should have gone in. But when I was watching the news, one of the things that kept standing out was the fact that hospitals were overrun, and I wanted to make sure that I wasn't taking a bed for someone who really needed a ventilator at that moment. So that was a choice I made, just to stick it out at home. But yeah, this virus was more serious than I thought it was going to be.
Wow, goodness gracious, Sonny. Well, I don't know what your faith is, but gosh, God was definitely with you. Yeah. Wow. So your wife, your kids, everybody they're good to go?
Everyone's good.
Good.
Everyone's good. Yeah, we weathered that storm, and I know a lot of families that one person gets it, and then the spouse gets it, the partner gets it, and unfortunately, kids are a little bit more resilient in this space, as I've heard, but they still need parents to help guide and feed and take care of them. So.
Right. What would be your message to people? I know, I've gotten into many discussions, and some people, they don't want to wear the mask, or they don't feel the need to wear the mask all the time when they go out. The gloves, the washing the hands, the shoes in the house, after being outdoors. Um, what is your message to people in regards to the guidelines, and as well as spiritually? What would be your message to people? Because that was very heavy, and praise God you came through it. And and it definitely speaks to who you are, because most people definitely would have went to the ER, because you sounded pretty
Yeah.
pretty bad, but you felt the strength that that you could tough it out. um what is your message to people on a spiritual plane, as well as you know on a physical, that everyone should practice every day?
Yeah, you know, time is a finite resource for all of us. And, when you're challenged with uh, what may look like you don't have a lot of it left, you start to think differently. And what I'm going to tell everyone right now is, I know times are tough. I know this is gonna, some people are just not going to love the isolation. It's going to make you depressed. But look, we've got to do what we've got to do at this point. The if I was 20 years older, this could have been a very different story for me. And so, a lot of people are going to get through this virus, but some of them are going to have a change in health at the end of this virus. It's going to hurt some people's lungs. It's going to hurt some people's, you know, heart. And so, we want to make sure that as the elderly, we're protecting them by doing all the things. We're not doing this all for us. We're doing it for everyone else too. So definitely, I'm a big believer in going out there and wearing that mask right now. And I believe in science. I believe that they're going to come up with a vaccine. I truly do. I think they're gonna do their part, but we got to give them time. We got to give them time. Let's not have them rush into something that makes matters worse, right? Let's give them the time. Let's give healthcare the time so that they don't get bombarded. Remember, they have families at home too. These nurses and these doctors, they got to go home, and they can't work 20-hour shifts, and they can't work 3 days in a hospital and then go home. It's hurting their immune system too. So let's keep let's be generous here, and let's make sure everyone stays safe.
Definitely, definitely. And one other question. So you've gone back to be tested again, and found out you were clear of it, or what does that look like after you've gone through the battle with COVID-19? So
So it's
what is life like now, physically?
So, I have not gone back to get tested. It feels more like, I know that I'm good, right? But, and I waited quite a while after I started feeling better to get out of my room and re-engage with the family. And then, getting out in the public. I actually just started getting out in the public, even though it's been a couple of weeks that I've been better. Um, there are some issues now that right after feeling better, I had some pains in my side that I really need to go check, and a couple of other issues that I'm dealing with. But I feel energetic now. um, uh, I'm eating again. My appetite's back. I'm regaining weight. I had lost 22 pounds through this.
Oh my.
So right. So it takes a lot out of you, but the I am better. And it's kind of like the flu. Once you're well, you really don't go back to the doctor to go check if you're better. Although I am interested in getting tested for the antibody and making a donation for I think it's plasma or whatever that can help other folks who are serious. So I'm definitely interested in that, and I've heard a few hospitals are going to start doing that in this area. So
Okay. So you wouldn't want to just go get tested just for peace of mind, that, so they tested, you tested positive. So, um, I know people are going to wonder, well, why didn't he go just to be sure? Because there's new developments of COVID-19 like practically every day. So
Yeah,
some are saying,
yeah,
after you've had it, you should be good for uh, for 2 weeks, and then some are saying 37 days after you feel better. Yeah.
yeah. We're taking precautions um, as I go through this. We've re-engaged with the family. It's and I have re-engaged with the family. I mean, but the um, getting tested again hasn't come up, not from my doctor, not from any healthcare professional. The other thing is they don't have a lot of these tests.
Mm,
Um, testing is an issue. If all of us who were tested the first time kept going back to re-get tests, I mean, that's twice the amount of tests each one of us are going to have to take on. They don't have enough to
mm.
find out who's. Um, I know I do feel better, but we are taking precautions. We're taking it day by day and testing a little bit as I go out. I know I'm symptom free. I've been that way for 14 days. So
Mhm. Okay. Okay. Well, yeah, that's true. It's not enough tests, even though um, number 45, Trump, says, "Oh, there's plenty of tests. We are testing beautifully in America. We have more than enough tests."
yes.
And yeah, I mean, that speaks to people who have been tested positive should be able to go back for the second test to make sure, just for peace of mind. But
And Malika, and I don't want you to think I'm paranoid or scared of anything, but I really don't want to go back into the immediate care in those areas where there's a lot of COVID patients going in
right.
and risk a chance of getting this again. So
Mm,
that's another thing that's in my head. So,
that's a
um,
real fear. That is real. I shared with you that I went to get tested, and it was negative, and I'm like, I do not want to go anywhere near a hospital again, because it was an experience. I mean, I've been in, the hospital before, and it's very different now.
oh yeah,
Very different now.
it um, there were a lot of people when I went into the immediate care. There were a lot of people who were coughing and looked very sick and violently sick, and they're going into those rooms. And while of course there's the nurses and doctors are doing the best they can with as much resources that they have to protect themselves. Remember, there's a lot of equipment and the chair and all of that. I mean, they've got to sanitize that at the end of each and every visit,
Right.
and there's chance of error, and I don't want to go back in and touch that one surface that was missed.
Right.
And I know they do a phenomenal job, I really do, but there's always that cost of error that could happen. So
Oh yeah. I mean, they are overworked at this.
oh yeah,
Um, our healthcare workers. I mean, my heart goes out to them. Absolutely salute them because, yeah, just I mean, I went at the early stage of everything, and it was busy, and I can't imagine like what it's looking like right now. It's got to be a madhouse. So yeah, I can understand you not wanting to go back because you're back to yourself. You've got your
yes,
smell, your taste back, you're gaining your weight back, and you're smiling and, feeling good. So, yeah, and it's such, oh my God, it's such a new reality we're in that, people fear going to the hospital because they know that that's where the virus is living and breathing. Absolutely. Goodness.
yeah. But to say great things about the healthcare workers, I think they're doing a phenomenal job dealing with the situation at hand. They've really stepped it up. I know quite a few uh, uh, doctors who just got their MD, and they're in the hospital, and this is the reality they're working in. And I
Wow.
mean, but just the fact that they're doing it and they're getting in there and doing what they need to. And I know that they're doing as much. So if you feel like you've got a heart attack or a stroke or something, don't hesitate to go to the ER. Go when it's serious. Definitely don't sit at home because you're afraid of COVID. I think North Shore and a couple of other hospitals in the area have done a good job designating one ER for COVID and keeping the others for everything else that's happening. So.
But yeah, I've said over and over, we are in the best city, Evanston, with North Shore Evanston Hospital, because they are angels over there. I look at them again. It's like I salute them. Absolutely, we have the best. That's
we're very lucky. I mean, Evanston also. I mean, our mayor is also someone who owns a consulting company that deals with crisis. So I mean, like, we're very fortunate to have the team in the area that we do. We really are.
Yes.
Phenomenal. Yeah.
Yes. Well, Sonny, I thank you so much, one, for sharing your story, coming on Evanston Live TV and sharing with us how real it is, and just what you went through internally to fight this. I mean, that took strength, to fight, and then to have the love and care for others, that you decided to fight it at home, to leave that ventilator for someone you felt was probably a lot worse. That speaks volumes. And you were still there to make sure your family was okay, and you even thought about your clients. That is a lot. So, along with the healthcare workers, salute you, because that is a heck of an experience to go through.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So thank you so much, Sonny. Thank you. And, if there's anything else you want to get out to the public, feel free to come on Evanston Live TV. Anything you want to share further with the viewers that will help them. I think what you've shared will, for those who have been in la la land about it, I hope this will wake them up to put your mask on before you leave the house.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Yes. Thank you, Sonny.
All right, Nika. It was great chatting with you.
You too. I look forward to meeting you very soon.
All right.
All right. Okay, you guys, this has been Malika with Evanston Live TV, and that was Sonny. What a powerful story. So, while many are, complaining about being in this quarantine and lockdown, imagine having those sort of conversations going on in your head where, you're thinking about your family and your next breath, struggling to breathe, and you've got a business you just launched, and goodness gracious, that took some strength, some spiritual strength beyond belief. And he's an amazing individual, and look forward to chatting with him more and learning more about his business as well. So we'll have Sonny back on. And again, as I've been leaving every video, every episode on Evanston Live TV, you all please practice your physical distancing, wear your masks, your gloves, take your shoes off at the door when you walk back into your house, and definitely keep those hands clean, and just be very conscious of protecting others, and in turn, you're protecting yourself. Okay, you guys have a great day. This is Malika, Evanston Live TV.